Throughout the past year, I've noticed that text messaging has become an increasing problem at Milligan College, both in the classroom as well as in chapel. I had a chance to catch up with several students and Dr. Tim Dillon to discuss the topic.
So you want to know what I think about the use of electronics in class, especially texting in class? I would say that in humanities, we have come to the conclusion that we have to have a policy that values class time. And one of the most important considerations for us is the extent to which anything that a student does that might bother or hinder the kind of educational atmosphere is just not appropriate. And so and when it comes to texting in terms of humanities, we basically say, you wouldn't make a phone call while you're in class, so why would you text in class? You know, because what it does is gets in the way of what we're doing academically. I would go on to say that in my own sections, it makes even less sense because I don't take daily attendance. I expect students to be there, but I don't take daily attendance. So if a student thinks that texting is important, just don't come to class and text, you know. I think that's my approach, is that if you're going to choose to come to class, you've chosen to do academic intellectual work and put off the social work until after that. If I know that you, Darcy, are sitting there texting, it is kind of an offense to me. Because what you're saying is, you're not important enough, this conversation isn't important enough for me to give my full attention to. Now, maybe that's not your intention, but that's the way I feel. So for me, this isn't about rules. It's about creating the best kind of atmosphere in a class where people can learn. In my history classes, I have to say, I don't have policy. And I guess it's because I've never had anybody do anything that I thought was a real problem when it came to these things. People use laptops. But as far as I know, they're not surfing the web, doing other things. And maybe that's because my tests require that people actually know what's going on in class. So they can't really afford to not to pay attention if they're in class. So I guess my approach to all this is a very practical approach. It's not rooted in what's right and what's wrong. It's rooted in how can we do our best to have a community of people who are trying to learn together. And if anything detracts from that, it's probably not helpful. I also think that there are matters of civility. I think that if people are going to go to chapel or convo, they shouldn't text. It's a matter of honoring both the people around them and the people in front. And so that becomes a matter of simple lacking integrity for people to do that. If you want to text, don't go to chapel. No one is beating you over the head, and you have a certain number you have to have. So you know, it used to be, we always had to be there, and I guess if you have a captive audience with no choices, you might argue that, well, you know, they forced me to be here. But now you can make all kinds of choices about what you go to and what you don't go to. In that environment, I think students no longer can make the argument that this is this onerous business, that I have no choice about what I can participate in and be involved in. And when you take that away, then you have no excuse, if you will, for showing less than honorable behavior. That's my own opinion.
I think that texting has helped me in my academic life because instead of having to go find someone if I have questions with my homework or something, I can just send them a text and we can talk about it that way.
I really don't text too many hours a day, probably not even a whole hour, but my roommate texts constantly, so sometimes, only like during emergencies or if I'm like expecting like an important message, then I will, but generally I try not to. Sometimes if someone like sitting in front of me will be like texting like novels, yeah, it's a little bit distracting, or if like their phone's like clicking really loudly, it can get distracting. Well, some teachers make it really clear, like they really don't like texting in their class, and they tell you like, if you text in my class, I'll kick you out or something like that. But a lot of teachers like will generally like state their opinion on whether they like get offended if you text in their class or not.
All right, so texting in chapel. Pretty sure not one person on this campus has not done that. I mean, if you look around, you see people studying on their phones. Not many people really are listening to the speaker unless they're just like cataclysmically awesome and they're actually sending a great message. So, I mean, I do it. I'm not ashamed to say I do.
It's not really a distraction, I would say, when other people are texting, but sometimes if they're close to me, I sometimes want to see what they're saying, so I'll have to like look over their shoulder.
So texting in class, I do it all the time, and I think that if you can do it and still pay attention and still make the grades and keep the grades up, then it shouldn't be a problem.
This has been Darcy Kubishak reporting for Wired.